Welcome everyone to the With Purpose podcast. Across from me, I have the very talented Ricky Casas, also known as Mista Ricksta, who just dropped an incredible set here in the studio for Sought Out Sounds. Ricky, thank you for making your way out, brother. I appreciate you coming out here to J-Town. I know it's a drive, but let the people know who you are, man. Floor is yours.
Well, thank you for having me. It was quite a little drive, but it was nice. So my name is Mista Ricksta. From Chicago, Illinois, born and raised in the north side. I'm just a DJ, brand new to the game. And here we are today.
Ricky's being modest. You're not just brand new. I can tell you've been working a lot behind the scenes, man. And I remember even when we first met, you were talking about, man, how you want to get into DJing, start doing that, and just like seeing your progression from then to now has been honestly one of like most incredible things for me to see and watch. Like I'm very proud of how far you've come. You know what I mean? And just like hearing you grow, like in your sound selection is very on point. You're finding yourself. You're very original to who you are, you know? Right. So I'd like to dive into just when you were learning the craft, when, you know, those times were coming and you wanted to just, you were in the scene, you were around it, you were getting to know the people, like take me back to that point, you know?
Yeah, so it really all started like during COVID. 2020, around summertime, people were finally trying to hang out with one another again without the social distancing, right? And so people knew that me and my roommates had a decent sized crib. So we had a nice yard, pretty big basement. And so they're like, hey, like, you know, we noticed that you have this size of a house and you have the space. Do you mind if we have a party? And I'm like, all right, cool. If we have a party, I want to DJ. I had already bought a controller because it was like, oh, you know what? I love music. You know, I've always been into music. I used to play the drums. That's what I was doing before. And I've always been wanting to get into DJing. My dad was a DJ. So seeing him, I was like, you know what? I want to get into that craft at some point. Yeah. So during COVID, I had the time. Went to go get the controller. People started hitting me up, trying to throw parties, got into it. And that's where it kind of initially started. People were then like, oh, you're throwing some decent parties. Like, can I have a party there now? You know, can we throw parties there now? And you could DJ. So it's just started word of mouth. And people kept on hitting me up and so on and so forth. You go down 2-3 years when we're finally able to go back out. I'm finally going to these parties, to the scenes, the Tango Funks, the Global Currencies, and I'm like, man, like this is amazing. I love these parties. Like these are the type of music that I love playing as well. And so that's, you know, when we spoke, got into it. I'm like, yo, like how do you kind of go about getting into this, you know? And then I just started dropping YouTube videos, SoundCloud mixes, and SoundCloud is amazing. Like it's such a great community. Yeah. DJs were finding me from outside of Chicago. And it was a great thing because that's what really kind of made me go even more. Because I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep on doing this or if I wanted to do this. I love it as a hobby, but to push it to go beyond like my room was where I was kind of confused, conflicted. I was like, do I go for it? Do I not? But I was encouraged by other DJs in the DJ community, and that's what kind of kept me going. And I was like, you know what? Like it's something I love to do. I'm getting encouraged by other DJs. Just go for it. Like what's the worst that could happen? You know, like
right.
So.
Right, you're just playing great music that you love, you know what I mean? And sharing that energy and what inspires you in these rooms. Mm-hmm. When you said your dad was a DJ too, how was he when he saw, you know, you were doing these parties and stuff? Like, how were those conversations?
So, it was funny because Dave had never came out to any of my events, you know? And I don't have a problem with that. For me, that's kind of like, it's very nerve-wracking. Seeing my parents there, I'm like, oh, they're here, like what are they gonna think, you know? But the first party that they came to was a Tango Funk back in, I believe it was around November, October. Okay. I'm walking in, I was the opener, so I'm walking in, about to get ready. all I see is I see Gio setting up. I see my aunt, she's already there, and then out of nowhere, my dad pops out from under the bar, and I'm like, oh shit, like, what are you doing here? You know, like this is gonna be quite an interesting night. You know, fast forward, I do my set, I finish, I come down, and you know, my parents give me a hug. They're like, oh, you know, we're so proud of you, good job out there. So seeing that and going through that experience was amazing, because he's been in that position where he used to throw his own house parties. He used to DJ, and kind of full circle to see that back today. It was a beautiful experience for sure.
Oh man, I can only imagine what he felt, you know, to see you rocking a party and being like, wow, seeing himself through you, you know. Exactly, so that's an incredible feeling. Now you're based in Chicago. I know that's home base, and you've been traveling a lot right now. Like, what are some of the other, you know, flavors or other cities you've been enjoying? What's been kind of the inspiration right now?
So I was fortunate enough to go on tour with Tango Funk, Gio Sands, with M. Jay Santos, and Bibby, and we started off in the East Coast. We hit up Philly, New York, DC, and you know, I was able to go to LA after that as well, and nothing but love, man. Like I'm telling you, the community, the DJ community it's a beautiful thing. I know there's the ups, the downs, but the experience that I went through, networking with other DJs from those cities, has been nothing but great. Philly is an awesome city. Definitely want to go back over there. DC surprised me. DC surprised me with everything. I did not expect to be like, oh, you know what? I want to go back to DC. Yeah. I really do want to go back to DC. And I'll go back to Philly for sure. New York is like a second home to me. I got family out there. Yeah. But DC was awesome. The scene's great. The music, it's the same thing, man. It's like everything that I love was being reflected through that experience, you know? Yeah. And LA was beautiful. Second time there, but really got to experience it as more of a local. And I understand, you know, why, if I was in a position to just be in LA, I understand, like, you know, why people don't come back to Chicago. Because I have met a lot of people that go from Chicago to LA, and don't come back. I get it. Yeah, I get it, because I would probably do the same.
Right. Now, going through all those spaces, like, what did you learn about yourself, you know?
So for me,
on those runs,
being prepared. You gotta prepare. I had an opportunity to spin in DC, and as I'm going up, I'm connecting, and nothing's playing. No sounds coming out, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, why can't I get this to work? And it was like the second time that's happened to me. It's happened to me at Blind Barber over here in Chicago a few months ago, right? But to me, I was always, like I said, I'm still learning a lot, right, during this process. It was learning to be prepared for whatever. Like, you have to have backups. You got to be ready for whatever's coming your way, because things don't always work out the way that you want them to. Right. So you got to be prepared. Yeah. Because of that experience, I got me USB sticks, loaded them up, go to LA a month later, and same thing. This time I'm having internet connection problems. So it's not working, nothing's coming out, but I'm like, you know what? I prepared for this. Yeah. I got my USB sticks, let me plug up, and there I was, you know? So just being prepared for the unexpected. Yeah. And just being ready to kind of do your thing, and networking with people, having an open mind to the connections that you're about to make. It's a beautiful thing being able to meet people for doing something that you love, and having that in the common ground with everybody around you.
Yeah, it builds a space for common understanding. You know what I mean? Like, this music makes me feel this way. I know it makes you feel that way too.
Exactly,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And we can grow, we can expand on it.
Exactly.
You got ideas to throw in the mix. I got ideas, you know. And yeah, man, it's funny how something that almost simple is a DJ lesson. It's a life lesson. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things where you're gonna be more prepared moving forward, or be like, oh, I've been here before. I know what to do now.
Exactly.
You know, so. I'm happy to hear you're learning these, and I learned through these conversations with other people too, because it makes me reflect on, you know what, I'm gonna take this into my day. You know what I mean? Like, what do I gotta prepare for today? You know what I mean? Or what I should be preparing for this week.
Exactly.
Which we've been preparing heavily for Sought Out Sounds this upcoming Friday, and man, just so that people kind of get a taste of what you're bringing to the table, we shot a really dope mix that I'm excited to put out. You know, what else are you thinking that is in the back of Ricky's backpack? You know what I mean? What are you thinking of pulling out?
So when I first started getting these gigs, I would kind of go prepped up with a set, like, and I would be like, you know what, like, all right, cool, I'm gonna open. This is how I'm gonna open, and I'm gonna follow this playlist, you know, and just kind of mix my way through it. Now it's more of getting music prepared in a playlist, organizing them by genres, and filling the room out for sure. Like that's a big lesson that I've learned so far, is trying to read the room, see where the energy's at. I even try to take like a little walk around to kind of feel people's energies and how they're feeling, to see what I am gonna be playing.
Yeah.
And it could be, I could go with the mindset of like, oh, today I'm gonna be playing like a lot of like R&B and house and hip hop edits, but it could just turn the other way and be like, oh, I ended up playing like a lot of violent funk and global club sounds, and it was not what I expected, right?
Yeah.
But I always come prepared with, as far as like the genres that I like to play, is gonna be Amapiano, Afro beats, violent funk, hip hop, R&B, housey type of edits. Organize them and just kind of feel the crowd out, see what we're working with, and kind of just take it from there.
Yeah, and they're gonna enjoy that. You know what I mean? So with this area that's in, it's in a good melting pot of, you got the suburb people, you got the city people, north, south. Like, it's a really good blend. And we were at Crooked Arm last night, and just seeing the crowd. There was a DJ there who was spinning like 80s throwback R&B type thing, and all the other people going through the records. I was like, wow, I'm like really excited to have that experience for everyone to come in next week. So I know we're gonna be playing good music, but also them to just be having conversations that they don't normally have. You know what I mean?
Right.
To dive through records, pull something out. Oh, I remember this. You know what I mean? My mom used to play this, or whatever the case is. You know, and just like seeing people have their own, I guess, explorations with music that isn't as common these days. You know what I mean? Like, who really is going to a record shop right now? You know, it's really the people that are, I don't know, vinyl collectors, or just like trying to go back to the roots of things. That's why I love collecting right now, or just like throwing records on, because it feels like it really has that energy in the record and the vinyl that you can't really replicate. And your version, that record you have, is one of one. You know what I mean? Like, not every record is gonna sound the same. You know, and just like, I think that's what is very unique about what the experience we're trying to build here. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to have you on, and just like learning more about you, and even seeing you grow through the years. I'm just like, man, Ricky's the best guy to have for the first one. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Thank you for making the time for it and stuff. So let the people know what you're working on, what they can expect from you in the upcoming, you know, seasons.
For sure.
You know, kind of what you're working towards. I'd love to hear that. You know.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's going to continue to make myself better. Whether that's, you know, every month I go through a lot of music on SoundCloud. Like, that's how I find my music, right? So besides the gigs that I'm able to get, I kind of just go back to my roots. Like, how did all this start? And it's back to the YouTube and the SoundCloud mixes.
Yeah.
So whenever I don't have a gig, I'm like, okay, well, let's go back to what we were doing, right?
Right. It's time to hit the gym.
Exactly. You know, so I'll go ahead and I just sit behind my desk, and I'll just go through whatever I found. For instance, in March. You know, I think I have around like 200 songs that I found in March. Go through them, mix whatever I come up with, and just take it from there. But as far as gigs coming up, I do have on the 19th and the 20th, I'll be in Orlando. I'm gonna be with my boy Sato Smooth. Shout out Sato. I'm gonna be with him, the Orlando House Party family over there. And then on the 26th, I'll be with DJ Too Dope at Cerise.
Okay.
And then what else? And then I do have 2 cool little festivals in the summer lined up. Not sure if I can say it yet, but
okay.
I will be dropping, you know, the flyer soon. Once they drop it, I'll drop it, and I'll be able to share that with everybody. But very excited for that. That's gonna be around the summertime.
And these are the first festivals you played?
Yeah, these are gonna be the first festival. So very excited, super thankful and grateful for the opportunities, and I cannot wait.
Yeah. Hey, you're gonna crush it. You're gonna crush it. So thank y'all for tuning in this conversation. This is Ricky Casas, Mista Ricksta. Thank you for making time, man. Appreciate you. And stay tuned for the next podcast. Next All Out Sounds. Peace.